welcome back to Casual Gamer Oz as we continue our F1 2017 Career Mode Season 3 with Toro Rosso driver Ben Waterworth. My name is Ben Waterworth. We're about to do one lap of Bahrain. Let's do that right now. One lap qualifying, of course, here on Casual Gamer Oz. Best qualifying here of 7th back in Season 1 of F1 2016, and best qualifying here on F1 2017 of 16th. Both races we've had here at Sakhir, we've qualified in 16th place. So right now that would be enough to meet our team's expectations. So let's try and do that here. Now, one thing we've complained a little bit about the nature of how the grids are basically always the same. You always got the same drivers in the same positions here on F1 2017. And one thing that I've noticed in the practices, obviously we don't do the practices, but they still give you the results once you skip practice, is that they seem to be a little bit all over the place. And obviously that's the case in real life practice, and I understand why they do that. But I think it would be great if they've got that algorithm written into the game. Have it thrown up every now and then that, a driver might spring a surprise up in qualifying, I mean, just like it happens in real life. I just think that would be fantastic, and it's just few and far between. It's only the McLarens that ever seem to all of a sudden be up there higher than they should be. So yeah, I feel that that's something that Codemasters should fix for future games. One of the few things. I don't know. It's a bit stale when you've got the same grids every single time, and that's kind of why I've stopped bothering reading out the grids, because you know what's kind of going to be the grid. And I think we're on track here for another 16th place. It's just our go-to position, because last year's Bahrain Grand Prix, I had that terrible out-braking manoeuvre, didn't I, into the first turn. Ended up having to finish dead last and pit, and I'm going to miss out here in 16th ever so slightly. Oh, 17th. That hurts. And Jeffrey says, oh, it's further back than we thought we would be. I mean, it's one position. Oh, I'm going to be intrigued to see just how far I was off my target place. Let's just have a bit of a gander here. Off my teammate too, and by that's tight. Less than 0.05 of a second. Far out. Anyway, so that's disappointing. We're not last, but again, we don't meet our team expectations, which will cost us a little bit. So Vettel, Pole, Hamilton, Raikkonen, Bottas, Ricciardo, Verstappen, Massa, Perez, Hulkenberg, Grosjean. All right, let's find ourselves in the race. Fact that we do now. Now, as I mentioned, our best finish here in Bahrain is 7th, Season 2 of F1 2016. Here on F1 2017, never finished in the points, but we've finished both times around last year. Of course, last terrible race I had here last year. And hopefully we can, again, make some positions up, do what we did in China, just make some positions up and just find ourselves casually driving through the rest of the race, doing some defending work there. I only get 65, gee, that's... It's a long slog getting to this 1400. And our reputation, again, it's so, look at that, we miss out on one position on our goal, and then that, it's just frustrating. It just, one position, and that, it's so frustrating that you do so well for the most part, and you miss out by one thing, by 5/10, and it punishes you that much. It's just, it really is a frustrating situation on this game to be able to have to do that. Because again, you just feel like you take like a step forward and all of a sudden you take like 10 steps back when you just make one tiny mistake. So, yeah, we're really begging for these updates. And obviously, we have to do well to get them up to the 1400 to make them faster. So, we'll see how we go here in Bahrain. Nice clean race here, Ben. You know if it's going to be a good or a bad race, judging on the length of this video, of course. It's a very close grid here, isn't it? Sainz just to the right of me. See if we can move ourselves over to the inside, which we're just going to slowly find ourselves there. We've got a car to the right of us, which we're just going to allow them to go through. It's going to be a Sauber. I'm going to be sandwiched here. I'm going to have to slowly, careful as I go around the corner. Sauber decides to bum into me. I've got a McLaren there. Whoa! And we have cars going off. Bit of a reaction time there. Manages to avoid that incident. Oh, that was lucky. I think that was a Williams by the looks of things that had a bit of a spin. No overtaking. Oh, I've just tagged the back of Stroll. No damage, and once again I'm racing with Hulkenberg. He seems to be the one that I always find myself up against, and oh, I've collided with him. There's a bit of damage to his car. More damage going across there. More damage to me. Deciding to get a little bit more aggressive with Hulkenberg because we saw what happened in China, that I couldn't get ahead of him. And that's how you do it. I've got a tiny bit of damage to my left front, but I don't think it should be enough to affect me too badly. My brakes are cold as I find myself struggling there. Massa is out of the race meantime. And we've made our way up into 10th place. And we're going to see how this damage is to the front wing. It's only very minor. But it looks as though we've gotten away for the most part unscathed. How can we take this turn here? Yep, no, it's fine. We're not on the red zone on the wing, so I'll gladly take that. And I think once again we're going to be finding ourselves defending this position for the rest of the Grand Prix. We've got two Renaults very aggressively behind me. They only want us to finish in 16th, so again this would be nice and handy. Vettel leading the Grand Prix, so that's good for us Ferrari fans. Now we've got yellow flag still into Sector 1, as obviously there's going to be damage on the circuit up here. Now I'm going to allow Hulkenberg to have to go around the outside of me. He can't overtake me though, Nico Hulkenberg, because we've got yellow flags. So that's to my benefit. Now where's this debris? Whoa, it's all over the racing line. That is going to make this very, very difficult for the rest of the race, because obviously we know in F1 2017 damage causes punctures. So have to remember that coming into our next lap. Might have to just go off racing line there, because it's going to be a lot easier maybe to go to the left rather than going off circuit each time, because that'll allow these cars behind to really keep up with me. And at the moment, again, we're not struggling. Cold brakes again, forced me to brake deep there. And this is going to be a very stressful Grand Prix, keeping position with these faster Renaults. Of course, they've got the custom Renaults in the back of that car. I've only got, they've got the works Renault, that's what I'm saying. I've got the custom Renault. So they're going to have a power advantage. And obviously we know in the development tree that they're a lot further up the grid than us. That's a car that we want. If we can keep them behind us, that will definitely serve well our reputation with Renault. And ultimately, that's what we would like, because we would like a Renault seat. I would like a Renault seat for next season. Renault or Force India would be very nice. See, Red Bull would be much nicer, or Ferrari would be the best, but the only interest Ferrari and Mercedes have shown in me is very, very slight. Now, I've got a bit of a tag there from Hulkenberg. And I guess the positive news here for me is that it looks as though yellow flags are going to be maintained into Turn 1. So if I can keep them behind me as we enter this zone here, they're not allowed to overtake me. So I can just keep them behind. Now I have to steer to the left here to avoid all that debris, which I do. So they've driven through it. Don't know if it affects them in terms of punctures, because they're going to have DRS next time around. So the problem that I'm going to find though is if I let them overtake me on the straight, which I generally often do, and then retake that move back into Turn 1, is that then I'll find myself in that bit of a tricky situation, because then I won't be able to re-overtake them, and I might find myself not being able to get past them. So bit of a interesting end to this race I feel we've got coming on, given the DRS situation, which they're going to get now. Yep, you can see him open the wing. So Hulkenberg will get a bit of a run on me here, but this is a little bit of a shorter straight, and I actually got some good drive out of that corner, which means that I'm going to run myself wide. That's not what I want. Oh God, I nearly took him out of the race as I forced myself back onto the track there. Sorry, Nico. Generally, Nico is very good at racing in this game. Had some good battles. Abu Dhabi, last Grand Prix in China. Got to get some good drive into this last turn. I'm going to put it up to rich mode just because I need to give myself a bit of a speed boost, given that he's going to get DRS. We can't have him overtake us. We cannot have him overtake us because I cannot retake him back into Turn 1. I feel like I've got him here, so that should be fine. Yep, I will get him. He won't be able to overtake me now. That's good. That's what we want. So we just got to maintain that. Now again, we've got to hover here to the left to avoid the debris ever so slightly. Again, they drive through it. I really hope that that affects them. It'd be nice if they could get a puncture so that I'm not so pressured from behind. But I'm guessing it doesn't. And it's only going to affect the human driver here. Interesting. Anyway, could be on for 2 consecutive 10th place finishes here. Which, considering we missed out on our grid spot by like 0.05 of a second and got severely punished for it, we could have almost had the perfect weekend in terms of expectations met. But again, I'm jumping ahead of myself here. We've got still a lot to go. You can just see the pace differential of the cars in front. As soon as you kind of, that first lap is over and you can't get close to the cars in front, you know that it's going to waltz away. And look how far Lance Stroll is away from me right now. So that's generally the issue we're finding with this Toro Rosso. We didn't really see that in China, did we? We kind of kept in close with the Hulk. But anyway, we've got a bit of a gap on him now. So that's going to work out well, as we only going to have one more lap here for him to have a go into turn 1. And I think we're going to get away with it. As we come into the last lap, I'm going to put it onto rich mode just to get that speed boost, perhaps. Just an ever so slight speed boost. Plenty of space now on him. And barring any disasters here, and also barring any catastrophes in the debris field, I feel as though this is ours. I'm just going to cut that there. Whoa, nearly got the debris. I think we've got it now. Clean last lap. Consecutive 10th place finishes. And moving into Russia, a race that we've only finished once. And that was last season when we got a 10th place there. We've got a couple of tracks coming up that really don't work well, obviously. I mean, I like Russia. Just had very bad luck there. Spain, it's okay. Again, a race that we generally have a bit of bad luck at. And then, you know, Monaco, I'm not going to meet any expectations there. That's just going to be a case of finishing the race as best as I can. But anyway, we're looking ahead. We're still in this Grand Prix here. We still haven't finished it. Palmer's are now ahead of Hulkenberg. And Palmer is the one who's catching me all of a sudden. So let's just stay focused. Again, I feel I can do a better job in that car than Jolyon Palmer. If you're listening, Renault. I surely should, as Vettel wins the race, get a bit of a boost in the reputation with them based off this performance. 3 wins to Ferrari to open this season up, so that's good. That's what we want. Hopefully they can maintain that, and we can break this Mercedes dominance on these games on Casual Gamer Oz, as you've seen. Hamilton winning all the championships so far. As we're just going to put this into Richmond to get a bit of trouble. Palmer's getting close to me. I think I should hold on to it. I do. Jeffrey. I just finished 10th. I got a point. That's all you're going to say to me? You ungrateful prick. Anyway, Palmer passes me right at the end there just for show. And we get consecutive points finishes, which is so far our best start to the season. It is so far in F1 2017, not in terms of total points, but in terms of consecutive points finishes. So we'll just have a bit of a look at this replay first of all. I actually want to see what happened to Massa. We'll take a look at my start first, see how that fared for us. Now, I couldn't really move too far to the right there because I had a Sauber right on me, and I got squeezed here. Whoa, 3 abreast into turn 1, if you don't mind. Then we're going to see Massa spin out, and I've just forced myself off there because there was no way I wasn't going to get involved in that little incident. Now, I just want to go back here to just see what happens. Whoa. And Massa's come on the track. What has happened with Felipe there? We're just going to... I don't want to ride on board with him. We want to see here from the broadcast. So he's coming into this corner here. It's going to be a Red Bull. They've forced him off. And he's nowhere to go. As the Red Bull has a sandwich, he's come straight back onto the track. And, oh, Fernando just says, fuck you! Interesting there. Alright, let's see how this played out with our little battle with Hulkenberg. This was a fun little battle. 2 Grand Prix in a row, and this time around I've said, no, I'm not staying behind you this time, Nico. Oh, I got very aggressive with him there. How I didn't get a penalty, I don't know. Oh, banging wheels again. Look at us go. Dodge 'em cars. Ping pong, as Sebastian Vettel would say. And I've got myself wide there, very deep, and oh, good move. I'll take it. All right. Vettel wins. Hamilton, Raikkonen, Bottas, Ricciardo. No change in the top 5. Perez moves up into 6. Verstappen, Grosjean, Stroll. Doing well for Williams. And another point there for myself. So the standings, Raikkonen leading. Vettel moves up into 2nd. Hamilton, Bottas, Ricciardo, Verstappen, Perez, Massa, Grosjean, Stroll. And we're still just outside the top 10 there. 2 points, but we'll take it. Constructors, no change in the top 5. But Haas move up into 6th and Renault drop down to 7th. So we are off to Russia next. We'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, like, subscribe, comment. Thank you for tuning in to Casual Gamer Oz. And we'll speak to you from Sochi. Good night.